When I arose from my grassy couch at sunrise on the 29th of September, I found indeed that the half had not been told me of the bower. Our headquarters were situated on a hill beneath a grove of lofty, umbrageous oaks of primitive growth, which extended on to the right towards the large mansion house, the thick brick walls of which, in the blush of the early sunlight, were just visible in little patches of red through the rich verdure of its embosoming garden. And at the foot of this hill ran the bright little river Opechan, its limpid waters breaking and tumbling over cliffs and rocks, forming a cascade of considerable height, with rainbows in its spray as the sun changed every drop into a ruby or diamond. This lovely entourage was enlivened by the white tents of our encampment, General Stuart's with its fluttering battle flag in the center, by the smoke of the campfire where the Negroes were busily engaged in cooking breakfasts, and by the picturesque groups of officers and men who were strolling about or cleaning their arms, and by the untethered horses and mules which were quietly grazing all over the ground. Frequently, when the mocha, of which we had captured a large supply from the enemy, was smoking invitingly on our breakfast table, we had the pleasure of greeting the proprietor as a welcome guest at our morning meal at headquarters. Later in the day, a lady's skirt might even be seen in the streets of our encampment. But regularly every night, we all proceeded with our band to the house, where dancing was kept up until a late hour. The musical director of our band was Private Bob Sweeney, of one of our regiments, whom Stuart had detached to his military family for his musical talent alone. General Stuart carried about Bob with him everywhere. Bob was a brother of the celebrated banjo player Joe Sweeney, a forerunner of all the Christies. And Bob himself also played this favorite instrument of his family with amazing cleverness. He knew sentimental, bibulous, martial, nautical, comic songs out of number. Now, Bob was assisted by two of our couriers who played the violin, but Bob's chief reliance was in Mulatto Bob, Stuart's servant, who worked the bones with the most surprising and extraordinary agility. He became so excited that both head and feet were in constant employment, and his body twisted about so rapidly that one could not help fearing that he would dislocate his limbs and fly to pieces in the midst of the breakdown. General Stuart himself was always the gayest and noisiest of the party, starting usually at the close of the festivity, that famous song, "If you want to have a good time, join the cavalry, join the cavalry." The whole excited company, young and old, uniting in chorus, the last notes of which sounded far through the still air of the night as we walked back to our tents. JEB Stuart did not like it at all if any one of his staff officers withdrew himself from these innocent merrymakings after the fatigues of the day to seek an early rest, and would always rouse this man from his slumbers to take part in the revelry.